Israel and Iran were once unlikely partners, not enemies. Before 1979, Iran's secular Shah recognized Israel, sharing intelligence and cooperating on military and economic projects. Both nations, wary of powerful Arab states and Soviet influence, found common ground as US allies. This pragmatic partnership was never about shared values, just mutual interests. Everything changed in 1979 with Iran's Islamic Revolution. The new regime, led by Ayatollah Khomeini, saw Israel as an illegitimate outpost of Western imperialism. Israel became the little Satan, and hostility replaced cooperation. Iran's opposition to Israel became a core part of its identity and foreign policy. The former partners became sworn enemies, setting the stage for decades of conflict. The shadow war that would define their relationship for the next 40 years had begun. After 1979, Iran couldn't fight Israel directly, so it turned to proxy warfare. Iran funded and armed groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, creating the axis of resistance across the region. Israel now faced threats on multiple borders, not just from states but from well-armed militias. In response, Israel launched covert operations, cyber attacks, assassinations, and sabotage, targeting Iran's nuclear program. The Stuxnet virus in 2010 crippled Iranian centrifuges, escalating the covert conflict. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, but Israel sees it as an existential threat. The Syrian civil war gave Iran a foothold near Israel's border, heightening tensions. Israel responded with hundreds of airstrikes on Iranian targets in Syria. Syria became a direct, undeclared battleground, intensifying the shadow war. The conflict grew more complex, with both sides pushing the limits of covert warfare. By 2025, the Israel-Iran conflict moved from the shadows to open confrontation. Iran's unprecedented drone and missile attack on Israel in 2024 shattered old taboos. Israel's swift retaliation signaled a new, dangerous equilibrium. Both nations now prepare for direct conflict, not just proxy wars. The nuclear issue is more urgent than ever. Iran's uranium enrichment has shortened the time needed for a bomb. Israel insists all options are on the table to stop a nuclear Iran. Meanwhile, Hezbollah's arsenal on Israel's northern border keeps tensions high. Skirmishes with proxies intensify, raising fears of a wider war. Israel's military is stretched thin, facing threats from Iran and its allies on multiple fronts. The region stands on edge, with the risk of escalation ever present. The Israel-Iran conflict is a global issue, drawing in major powers. The US is Israel's key ally, providing military aid and intercepting Iranian attacks alongside the UK, France, and Jordan. Iran, meanwhile, relies on Russia and China for military and economic support. Russian weapons and Chinese oil purchases help Iran withstand Western pressure. Regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the UAE fear a major war, quietly cooperating with Israel on security. The Abraham Accords have fostered new intelligence ties against Iran. International organizations like the UN and IEEA try to mediate, but face limits and resistance. UN diplomacy is often blocked by Russia and China's vetoes. IEEA inspectors face growing restrictions in Iran, raising nuclear fears. The world's efforts to contain the crisis are hampered by great power rivalries. The Israel-Iran conflict threatens global stability and the economy. The Strait of Hormuz is a choke point for world oil. War here could send prices soaring and trigger recession. Nuclear proliferation is a real risk. A nuclear Iran could spark an arms race across the Middle East. Regional war would cause massive human suffering and a refugee crisis, destabilizing countries far beyond the conflict zone. Extremist groups could exploit the chaos, creating new global security threats. The conflict tests the world's ability to resolve disputes peacefully. Diplomacy, not war, is the only path to lasting security. The stakes are high global order, economic stability, and peace are all on the line. Finding a solution that addresses both Israeli security and Iranian concerns is crucial. Failure would be a tragedy for the Middle East and a danger to us all.